Hello, good evening, Namaskara, and welcome to the stream of JLNV Enterprises. Today we're going to talk about an architecture of electric vehicles. What are the brief about architecture of electric vehicles? So we are in the middle of 2021, right? September 2021, where we are hearing a lot of news, at least in the Indian subcontinent, launch of uh, new electric vehicles in the market. Respect of the big players, we have been seeing the trend setting amongst us all, where people are moving from traditional combustion engines to electric vehicles. So let's break it down in this particular video. A brief video, maybe a future videos will have dedicated sessions on each subtypes of the components of the electric vehicles. So before that, let's talk about the law of land. Government of India has been encouraging the quick transition from internal combustion engines to an alternate source of fuels, that is like electric vehicles. And this is not the first time in the history. Government of India has also encouraged use of LPG uh, combustion engines, like where they have made a hybrid vehicles on usage of both petrol and LPG, and as well as just LPG engines. So conversions of vehicles from a typical IC combustion engine to LPG, we have seen that in the past. So now we are seeing another trend where we are moving from an internal combustion engine to an electric driven engine. So what is the difference? So the difference is simple, that we have the internal combustion engine replaced with electric motors and related power electronics and related components of those. We also have been seeing a lot of involvement from the industry, where we are trying to bring in hybrid electric vehicles also, which runs both on electric as well as fuel as well. So this combines together to be as a combination of electric as well as petrol, taking away one aspect of the customer regarding the range. So going ahead quickly, we will break it down. Before that, we need to also see that we follow certain features, which is, or we follow the same features like what we have been using in internal combustion engine. Just that industry has seen to that they are not breaking it down, in terms of the architecture, the aesthetics of the vehicle, but the usage of the vehicle remains to be same. Just that the working operation has been replaced from an IC to an electric vehicle. So now there are certain standards called as uh, electric vehicle standards set by ARAI and ICAT. Maybe we will go through that in the future presentations. We will try to bring in the experts in the industry to talk about it further on that. So that we will quickly get down to the architecture on a brief. The brief of an architecture is any electric vehicle, uh, uh, maybe a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler or a truck, or maybe any given vehicle has seven basic components. Before that, before going to the electric vehicles and the components of that, name and definition of electric vehicle. What is an electric vehicle? An electric vehicle is a device, a vehicle which runs on electricity, which is driven by an electricity. So, how does this system work? This system works on the concept of drawing source from a battery bank or a power storing device and getting it transmitted to a central drive using a certain level of controllers. So that's how we control the speed of the vehicle and the momentum of the vehicle and take it to a different level. So with that kept in mind, let's quickly jump into the architecture of the vehicle. So as I said earlier, the architecture of the vehicle remains to be of seven different components. So namely the chassis, the battery bank, the motor, um, the accessories, the electrical components, the harnesses, and related components of the electric vehicles. So let's break it down one by one. So chassis of the vehicle remains as the same as your internal combustion engine. It is no different from it. So we also have seen that most of the electric vehicles enjoys the same design as your existing um, uh, internal combustion engine vehicle chassis. Just that we see differences in the subcomponents of it. So when it comes to the next aspect, that is the battery pack, the energy storage device, we have seen a big amount of change, such transition from an IC engine to a battery pack on its own. So battery pack varies from application to application. Maybe in the future slides we'll go down in depth of what is the range, what is the capacity of the battery packs, what we talk about, and what are the jargons that we use in the industry. The controller, which controls the voltage and current that needs to be supplied to system, that is replacing the carburetor system of an engine. Taking for example, or MPFI EC, engine control unit of an engine. So just taking an example there. Throttle remains to be same. The aesthetics of the throttle remains to be same. So you see the same throttle in the vehicle for IC engine. The same remains to be same as in the electric vehicle. Just that you have throttle pulling the cable there. Here you have the cable which is varying the resistance and defining the amount of current flowing into the system. So the wheels, the drivetrain has been replaced by a electric motor drivetrain. Then we have lighting systems. The lighting systems plays a major demand, and we have certain amount of DC-DC converters, which remains to be same as well as in the IC engine as well as here in the electric system. But the system changes when comes in terms of derivation of the electricity, because in IC engine the derivation of electricity is from a 12-volt battery, which is getting regenerated from an IC engine. But here it is completely sourcing from a battery pack, which is existing in the vehicle. And going ahead, we have the accessories of the system, maybe the chargers, maybe the AC controls, etc., etc. So these are the major seven components which define any electric vehicle, and which maybe a two-wheeler, four-wheeler, or truck, or many application comes into picture. So let us also say that the electric vehicle, people talk about it's a trend set by the industry. No, it is not a trend. This is not the first time. The government has been pushing a lot of these activities, hence we are hearing about it. But electric vehicle, electric industry is no near to India, especially for the subcontinent, because we have seen a lot of these applications in railway system, electric railways. Then you have also seen this kind of vehicles being used in golf course roads, golf tracks, golf turfs, where you would have seen all those mini buggies which is running on lead acid systems. So the technology remains to be same there, but improvisation in terms of the battery bank has played a major role. So this remains to be same, and let me remind you, we're going to have a series of sessions followed by this. This is going to be a brief of the architecture of the system. Maybe in the furthermore sessions, we will break it down step by step, and we will discuss what goes into making of electric vehicles, and we'll try to connect to the industry experts on this particular platform to discuss further on the same. Thank you for joining the session, and have a wonderful time there. Have a great time. Bye bye.